She said she don't want to hear y'all
Oh,
crying and
Deja,
complaining and shit. She's like, all
Deja
this
and Chocolate.
vulnerability shit gets on her nerves now.
We made the show for you. Where you at, Deja and Chocolate?
She's like, I can't take this vulnerability from men.
All right, fair use.
All right, let's go ahead. We're gonna play it. I'll try to contact her and see what's up.
Okay.
I did not interview men for the first 4 years of my study. And it wasn't until a man looked at me one day after a book signing and said, I love what you have to say about shame. I'm curious why you didn't mention men. And I said, I don't study men. And he said, that's convenient. And I said, why? And he said, because you say to reach out, tell our story, be vulnerable. But you see those books you just signed for my wife and my 3 daughters? I said, yeah. They'd rather me die on top of my white horse than watch me fall down.
Ouch.
When we reach out and be vulnerable, we get the shit beat out of us. And don't tell me it's from the guys and the coaches and the dads. Because the women in my life are harder on me than anyone else. So I started interviewing men and asking questions. And what I learned is this. You show me a woman who can actually sit with a man in real vulnerability and fear, I'll show you a woman who's done incredible work. You show me a man who can sit with a woman who's just had it. She can't do it all anymore. And his first response is not, I unloaded the dishwasher. But he really listens, because that's all we need. I'll show you a guy who's done a lot of work. I did not interview men for the first 4 years of my study. And it was.
So what Unc says, like, both is needed. Unc, I know you in the military. Can you let us know what division military you're from?
Man, I was just a regular U.S. Army soldier, man. You know, went in the summer of the Gulf War. My first 6 months of the military, I was running along the Persian Gulf.
Damn.
I was going for the college fund, but hey, I don't know, man. The word vulnerable, it's totally opposite of any military or home structure to me as a man, even growing as a kid. My father wouldn't allow me to be vulnerable. He put me in a direction. My school teachers didn't even allow me to be vulnerable back when I was in elementary. I had black school elementary teachers. They wouldn't let you sit over there, shut your ass up, read this book, help you with the math. It all worked hand in hand as I got older. My father taught me structure, told me how to move around in the streets as a kid. When I was out there as a teenager, I was like a young bull out there. Didn't nobody put their hands on me. The women, some liked me, some didn't. I like the ones that was natural. I wasn't into that, Miss Polly. It was never. But as far as being vulnerable around guys that I knew, I mean, I think when
You're
the
not doing me like that,
benefits
sir. There's no reason.
having a relationship as a young guy with a girlfriend, we was doing a whole lot of what these people crying about. And, you know, we live right next door to each other. So we started acting, you know, like we was going to break up. It started with me because I was one of them dudes that play sports, looked good and had it going on. And then when she started moving on, I was acting silly, like, why you won't want to talk to me? You know what I'm saying? I was young. That was my first, you know. But then once I got out into them adult streets, a woman moved how I move. I talk to her. She tell me her story. I tell her mine. It all worked. Then when I got into it, I went to I went to college. That was cool. I went to the military. My father was an alcoholic. He didn't talk to me a lot in my teenage years. I was pretty much coming in the house at 6 or 7 at night, in the morning, rather. I wasn't doing nothing stupid, but, you know, I knew not to put myself in a vulnerable position, acting out, disrespecting people. It wasn't me. It wasn't my style. I had sisters, older and younger. I made it safe for them to move in the streets, you know, but as far as vulnerable, it's hard. Then when I in the military, everything about the military, like you said, it teaches you not to be vulnerable. That's why you train the way you train. If we could train our lives and children the way the military style is, most black people would be successful. About 95% of us. It'd be a little 5 or 6 degenerates that just want to do it, but then they'll get washed away on their own, you know, and that'll stop soon. Then they'll pretty much be almost 100%. But as far as telling people about your life, everybody that you grow up around your neighborhood, see, now the neighborhoods are small. Everybody's real small, 1 or 2 blocks. When I was growing up, neighborhoods was 10, 50, 5 miles away from home, you know, so it was more of a community. Now everybody that you grew up living with, they lived on your same block, they know your weaknesses. That's why they take advantage of you. They know what makes you pain. That's why they throw darts and talk negative to you. That's why they borrow money from you, because they know you weak on that. I never let no teenager borrow money. Grown man, me and my friends, we make our own money, you know, and then we share alike. I ain't gonna put in 60 and you put in 30. No, 50-50 or 33 and a cent. That's just before I got away from home. Once I've been traveling the world and meeting new people, I done business first. Everybody don't have to be my friend at work. You know, I go to work. I want to get this job done. So when they start cutting back, they might let you go, not me. That's just the way I work, though.
And get paid.
Exactly. So, but at the same time, I respect everybody. I want everybody. I know everybody can do it. Everybody can cry. I work with people who used to cry on my shoulder every day. Slob, snot, and everything. All day. But one thing, once you start getting into that age of reason, like my man was speaking about, coming into that age of 40, that's when you grow up as a man.
You know, that's a strange place, because for me, it started age 23, 24.
And that's why you was able to, and that's why you right now today, I heard you say that you're able to maneuver how you maneuver with the ladies, but you still playing games though. So let's keep that real. See what I'm saying? So
I understand, like, I was in the same position.
Ellie, look, I don't want to talk about that because I understand all that. I was doing that. I was a single man. I'm trying to tell you. I'm just glad I'm out of that game today. But
I'm gonna be vulnerable about my dating life on the next show.
No, you playing games, Ellie. Yeah, I call that out. You playing games. How old are you now? 40 something?
Yeah, but like, look, my opportunities.
Stop.
No, my opportunities, my family now, we talk about it. So they're
I'm talking about you and the ladies. That's all I'm talking about.
Yeah. Because it's happened. I missed 2, and they weren't black, and that was my only thing. Like, I want a black woman. I want the white girl.
Did I hear you say you got incognitos? Did I hear you say that?
Oh yeah, I got a black street name. Yeah.
But yeah, everybody, you know, vulnerability nowadays, you know, it just depends on how you look at it. Because I heard my man, like I said, M3, all of our great minds come to fruition about age 35 to 40. Men start becoming, but unfortunately for us, of men of color, we waste time in between 21 and 40. We waste, even the women wasting that time too. See, we just playing games, but that's 20 years behind your retirement.
Yeah.
Is all I'm saying. So you got to just work. If you can, especially going to the future, if you're a man, you see how the bad deal is having children. Be a single man, protect your seed, get your money right, whatever job it is. I don't give a fuck if you dumping trash. Be the best trash dumper in the world so you can grow up and be supervised and make 120 and call some shots and hire all the good kids out here. Your friends that ain't doing shit, start fucking with them, because a man grows. You can ride by, bump your horn and keep it moving. But at the same time, you got children, so
yeah, I
they
can't
move how you move. Children move how you move.
Can I ask you guys a question? Because it's gonna tie into what Trey's saying. And when we was talking about it this weekend, you know, I was thinking about this, and I was struggling with it because I'm like I said, I'm not a very emotional person to begin with. But when Trey said it, I'm like, are we even supposed to be vulnerable as men like that? Or should we be focused on productivity?
Okay, I gotta say something about that. Growing up in the South prepped me really good. It was very different because early it was like, you are a black man starting at age 6. And I had to be careful how I carry myself because, you know, we always talk about Emmett Till. Also, this is a time period where kids was going missing. We was dealing with a lot of, Jeffrey Dahmer type of people in the South. Especially if you're a black child, you go missing really quick in the South, especially in Florida. I've learned in Florida too how to take a lollipop, crack it on the floor real quick, put it in between my knuckles and turn it into shards so I could punch, kick, and leave. I learned to do the exits. You learn all this stuff growing up. And also at the same time, the black church was added manhood training. And then they put you in the Boy Scouts. So I was in the Cub Scouts and Weeblos and Boy Scouts. And then you look at your coaches and your school teachers. It was always added training more into manhood. But then when I went to a white school and I saw like my white friends playing with their dads, I just grew angry because I was like, whoa, you got a chance to be a boy. I never got a chance to do that. All I got was to shut down, shut up, and turn my emotions into a weapon. Whatever I felt, it was like, now turn that around and make that your energy. And that's all I learned. And then I went to the same church M3 went to, and they met Stephen later. And and Stephen is a bad man. And Stephen was not having it in church.
Oh, word. But what part of the South did you grow up in, man? Because, yeah, that's...
Opelika, Florida.
Oh, okay. Damn, it was that bad?
Dade County. Yeah, it's a blue-collar suburban class. A lot of African-Americans, Jamaicans, some Haitians. But it's very blue-collar, a lot of military families that's there, retired there. Okay. So it was like, I also got it from my neighbors who were in World War II and World War I. Also neighbors that was Vietnam. That's what I learned about. There were certain, like Mama Holly, she was my grandmother. Her brother was from Vietnam. We were never allowed to go in his room because he suffered from PTSD and schizophrenia. And a lot of people didn't know what that was. It was like, we can't go to his room. It's just you leave that side of the house. And it stayed in my mind, like, I don't go to the right side of the house. I just stay in the living room and go to the left side. Never go to the right. It just programmed in our heads. Even my brother who's autistic knows like not to go on the right side of the house. Like, and that was the whole thing about PTSD. We didn't know what it was, but we knew. Even Big Red said that a lot of kids were murdered in Atlanta and in Florida. Yeah, you had to be aware of your surroundings. Your parents knew the whole neighborhood. If I took a different route from home, because I met a girl gonna walk her home, my father knew. I'm like, how you know? He's like, don't worry about that. That was a spanking. But he knew everybody. I didn't know he knew everybody, but that's how the parents had to do it. They had to know what was going on.
But that was the community.
Yeah. Hey, Stan, real quick. Are you guys going to allow Miss Polly to share?
Yeah, we're going to get there real quick. Let's play that last video. And Miss Polly and the ladies, come on in, because the question I have for you ladies, do you believe it's safe for men to be vulnerable? And don't lie.
All right.
Not that one.
Not that one?
With the brother. There's only one with the brother.
Damn, Stan, you see this is what happens when you see like a whole clutter of videos, man.
It was the last one.
Hold on for a second.
Go to the one that's me and you and Sophisticated Jerk.
Oh, I gotta go out.
AM3, we're just gonna blame this on Stan because our clips be unorganized, they be in order.
I do the same thing too.
This is like super. This is like the most cluttered I've ever seen.
This is Stan's fault, man.
Yeah. Is this the one like with the woman is like on this?
No woman. No woman.
No woman, right?
Hold on.
Right. So then that's from the Peaceful Life podcast, right?
Hold on for a minute.
Hey, my man, indigenous black man
Just
in the chat said Trey Ferg would snitch on his co-workers.
Yeah, tell them come on up here.
All right, let me go ahead. I want to share this
If he
tab.
ain't got no mustache, I know he'll snitch. Those the ones that turn on.
Ooh,
Gotta have a mustache. Is all I gotta say.
they got no testosterone, right on.
But he ain't lying though. The ones that doesn't have the mustache, bro, those are the ones that will rat you out though.
Oh
They
yeah,
got no testosterone.
nah, they want to be cops deep down inside. That's why.
Oh dang, you know. But then, what do you say with a woman that has the mustache on her, like around her lips?
She
Oh,
just
they
like her daddy. She's handsome, just like her
Oh
daddy.
yeah, you're a handsome woman, right? Anyway, shout out to women with the mustaches. All right. Also to everybody, if you guys are tuning in, I'm gonna just put this plug out because we are simulcasting. We got people watching us from IG. So shout outs to you guys who are watching us. You are watching us from Knowledge and Relationships on YouTube. Okay. If you guys love the channel, please make sure you guys hit the subscribe button on Knowledge and Relationships on YouTube. So that way, if we are not simulcasting at that particular time, you'll be able to catch exclusive content over here. So please make sure you guys are subscribing. Shout outs to Trey Ferg for sharing his channel, so that way his viewers can also watch us as well too. So please, we're just trying to build. Also subscribe to the Intellectual Soapbox as well. Look, but mainly just give us your support because everything counts. Okay. Hit the notification and you will be notified when we go live. Okay, that's where you'll get your reckless reviews from Knowledge and Relationships, or your Toxic Tuesdays from Knowledge and Relationships, and sometimes we're gonna have Knowledge and Relationships after dark. Again, make sure you guys just take that time, open that extra tab. It doesn't hurt to subscribe. Thank you. All right, so fair use in this one. Let's go ahead. We're gonna play this video. Oops, hold on. Forgot to unmute it.
That was so more that I gotta die with some kind of me. That's not sustainable. Like, you too young, bro. That's not sustainable, bro. You can still play ball. So that's not sustainable. So I can come up here, I can tell you somebody else's life, and I'm willing to go. Hold on, I'm gonna turn my head back, and I'm gonna put a smile on for you. And I'm like, bro, you don't gotta put nothing on for me. I can just sit back and I'm gonna tell you what it is. Like, I know that's not sustainable, but at the same time, like, what? Please, none of us can do it. None of us can do it alone, bro. Reach out. You have to change the narrative. Go out, talk to people, interact with people. Like, bro, real talk. I'll call us out. Us three. Bro, you be in Miami? Y'all party. I don't party, bro. No. We don't party, bro. I'm talking about you have kids, I have kids. Come to my house. We can get bounce houses for the kids. We can sit back on the porch and drink a couple beers, drink some wine, hang out. Like, bro, that's not a normal, successful man's life to sit up in the house like that. Like, you gotta find good people, and us three can be good people. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, that's not no disrespect to what y'all got going on. I've been trying to find good people for so long. I'm tired, bro. I would say this: it's a 100% like it's so okay to be tired. I got, you know what I'm saying? You ain't got nothing left. You ain't got nothing left to give. I'll say this.
And the reason I played that, I want that clip to play is that we don't know what other men are going through. And a lot of times we push to be tough, but a lot of men are just this close to just saying I'm over it. And I just want to make sure, that we are thoughtful and that we are open to caring and allow people to share, allow people to feel like they can come to you. And even if you feel uncomfortable, it's not about you, it's for them, and guide them to people that can help them. And that's it. Now we get to Miss Polly. The only bravest female that's vulnerable on this podcast, because now we know the rest of these women were just talking mess.
What?
Thank you, Miss Polly.
Yeah, Stan, you ain't right.
Being strong.
Stan, they was talking about some safe space the other day.
Yeah, and she made it safe. Look, she came on. and she wasn't part of the Saturday shenanigans they was trying to do with that healing stuff. And she came on tonight, and the rest of them knew we were gonna do this tonight, and it's okay. I'm not gonna name them, but like, look, you know what I'm saying, ladies? You said we put it together, you'll come.
Oh,
but thank you, Miss Polly. I appreciate you for real. You're a mother of how many sons? You have sons? How many sons do you have?
4.
4. Oh,
Polly's a king.
The Queen of the Kings. The Queen of the King. That should be your name.
And then I took in another child, so I have 5 of them. So 5 boys in the house. Well, I took on another child, so
okay.
Yeah.
You're the Queen of the Kings. That's what you are.
Right. Even when I was your young lady and I was a child, I said I wanted all boys. I said I didn't want no girl.
Why is that?
I want to vibe with the guys. My family actually doesn't have a lot of girls in it. We have more boys, so like my natural connection is not very feminine.
So, Miss Polly, have you always been sexist towards women?
Yes.
Why is that?
I try not to be. It can be difficult.
What you mean? Way.
Well, okay. So, and ladies, please don't be upset me rewiring this and call me out. I'm just being wholehearted. I think that
coming soon.
The logic of men just makes sense to me. Even if I'm emotional, the logic makes sense. I'll even say, like, I know I should choose this, but I feel like I should choose that. And I have to, I have to acknowledge that my feelings probably incorrect. But it's fine. I'm in the know. Whatever. So I think that a lot of times how can I say this in the nicest way possible? I think, I guess you're supposed to, but women are given a lot of rope to hang themselves. They are. They get lots of excuses and lots of reasons why they can get away with foolishness, and I think it is ridiculous. And I'm including myself. I'm not excluding myself. I'm saying it because I'm very well in the know that it's just because I'm a lady. And then I've done pretty privilege is one of them. There's all kinds of things. Like just in general, being a lady. I'm confessing this, but it's a very bad confession. During COVID, I did not get my tags changed because I was mad at COVID and all that, and I didn't really want to do it. So I was just lazy, be honest. I didn't change it for 2 years. A police officer pulled me over and was like, "Hey, your tags are 2 years old." I was like, "Oh, I know, I'm gonna get to it." He's like, "Okay, well, just hurry up and do that, okay?" And walked off. Now, what black person
Did you show him the titties?
I don't remember that day. But
he saw the juggler, sir.
Okay. Did you put the sprinkle on there?
I'm just saying, ladies, you guys get, we can say we have a period and cuss your man out. You say you're on period, not go to school. You say you're on. I work as a manager. I hear women come in and say, "Oh, my boyfriend broke up with me," and start crying and say they gotta go home early. I'm like, when is that okay? None of these men coming here talking about their girlfriend made them mad and they can't work. Why you get to go home early?
You know why? The office wives be coming in, consoling us.
No.
In process. I know they did for me.
But you said it. So why is it that they can come in and do the same thing, get consoled by their work husband? They gotta pull it together. I'm sorry.
But you know what, Miss Polly, I want to tell you something. Thank you for that information you dropped, that gem that you helped us. I think it was a couple weeks ago. You said that a lot of times you like to pull men away from their purpose. And
I think that's a good. I didn't say I personally, but I'll say that it feels like an achievement when you do.
Okay. And that right there helped me eliminate 5 women in my life. When they dropped little guilt trips, and I was like, you know what? I remember she said that. So I'm like, you know what? You gotta go.
What? That's true. what it's okay. So we all say competition. They think competition is for men only. It is for women. They just compete different. We're competing in a different way. Doesn't mean we're competing.
You're not
So
competing with
that's
the
why I
women.
think with women are with each other, and we're like, oh, even if they're sitting next to each other and they see a man, I think in their mind they're still thinking, well, if I'm important enough to take this man away from what he's focused on, that deems me important. Now, the way I'm saying that sounds very bionicle, whatever. But if a man is doing something and he takes the time out of his day to say hi and how are you, you're still taking him away from what he was focused on. He's giving it to you, so he deems you more important in that moment.
Now, look,
Or-
as a mother of 5 boys, I want to get back on the topic of vulnerability.
Sorry, go ahead.
How did you? No, you're fine. You're fine. How do you make it a safe place for your 5 sons to be vulnerable in your household? Deja, I see you. Thank you. We called you out 3 times. We say your name like Candyman, and here you are. What's up, Deja?
Oh, Lord.
Technically, Sid called you out. but,
Sorry, I
yeah.
just wasn't on my phone today, so I missed all the links and messages and everything.
Lord praise them.
No problem. But go ahead, Miss Polly. So how do you make it okay to be for your 5 sons, the 5 kings in your household?
5 sons and 3 men. Okay, let's see.
Ooh,
What I will say.
do you have no daughters?
No, what? Yeah, I have daughters.
Oh, you forgot about them?
No, you asked me about the boys. You didn't say
No,
anything
that's
else.
fine. Go ahead. With the 5 sons.
Yes, I know. I said in 3 men. I was saying the guys I'm with. So I say providing a space for them to have no retaliation. So like I'll say, like, if you say up front, like, hey, I just want to tell you something and I just need a safe space. I actually have that word, safe space. And I have a safe space. You should have a safe space within, whoever your person you're with. So if they say, hey, I want to have safe space, whatever conversation we're having there, I'm going to try to be unbiased and let you say what you got to say and remove what I want to say possibly in that moment, for you can just say what you got to say. And then once we get that out, I don't repeat it later and I don't bring it up.
Whoa.
And that is for my children also. If one of them comes to me and, discloses something about a girlfriend or how he feels, or I feel like this is this, they come to me and they say, like, I want to tell you something. I want to have a moment with you, or I need that space. And then I'm like, okay, I do not bring that back up later. We have argument or I see them doing something. I don't bring it up unless they come back to me and say they want to be in that space again. And then I will come back to it. It is a place that they can be who they are. And then I just shut that off, because you can't have a man. You can't have a man come to you and say, hey, you know what? I'm having a really bad day. I feel like I'm about to freaking crack. And then a couple weeks later, you see him like having a bad day. You're like, oh man, all you doing is crying for the last couple months. You violated them. You're done. Because once you violate, they won't come back. You can't come back from that.
Who taught you this?
I mean, it's just, you can see it.
You did this on your own?
Yeah, you can see it. I like to watch people. I like how they move, how they act. Like, I went to school for that, so it's not like
you're a real empath.
You're naturally, I think I added with learning more about people.
Most people would have had like, that's a weapon. I could go ahead and crush
it. It is a weapon, girl. And I think that's why I said women, I think, misinterpret that. If your man ever comes to you in that moment, and you usually don't see him like that, you violate him once, he'll never come back the same, and he won't act like that toward you again. And now you just gave him a pass to go somewhere else and then be free with someone else, because you basically it doesn't matter.
True. I've done that.
Yeah.
Once that happened one time.
Yeah, I think the military man, because I've dated some military men, and sometimes they have PTSD, PS moments, and I've seen one of them, people I've seen, like, they look like, I'm like, oh, they're going through something, and I would never bring that back up. That's not something that we would do, because that's not, them having a moment, that's not for me to share or use as a weapon because I'm mad or angry or irritated.
Ooh, that's deep. Thank you for doing that. So, Jerk, you got a question to ask her?
Hold on, let me say this real quick.
What's up, 84?
What's good, y'all? What's good? I'm in the building. I'm chilling, man. I think I think this is not. I think as far as like having a safe space or even having a place where we can actually be ourselves as a people, that has never happened across the board. Whether it's a man or a woman, our people have never been safe. We've never had space where we can actually go to and talk and be transparent. That's never happened for our people across the board. We don't even really. We have so much dysfunction in our communities a lot of times. No, I mean we can't. We have just now started to make going to therapy something that's even rational for either men or women. Because before, if you said that you was going to therapy, or before you said that you had to, get help for certain things, they would just deem you crazy, or they'll say, "Oh, ain't nothing wrong with you." You know what I mean? That's what you would hear as a person of color. So, you know what I mean? So I think in our logic, you know what I mean, we have to just really be factual about what happened, about what's been going on in our society. We've never had a space where we can actually be vulnerable and share our traumas and share our hurts and share how we depress. You know what I mean? Men and women both have had to work throughout history. So this whole, illusion that the women sat at home or the men did this, we have a lot of delusional things that we put out here that's not true, especially when it comes, you know what I'm saying, to us actually having, especially when it comes to us being vulnerable as a people. You know what I'm saying? We all know, you go to the family function or the cookout, because I've been there. Everybody's joking, everybody's laughing, everybody, playing the dozens or whatever. You know what I mean? There's probably some alcohol there, right? There may be some other things there as well, right? Maybe some weed or smoke or whatever. You know what I mean? And everybody seems to be having a good time. But when it comes to really talking about real issues, it gets brushed under the rug. When it comes to really talking about real subject matters or what's really bothering us, it's not really talked about or really brought to the forefront. And then when somebody does it, they're ignored or they're ostracized or they're told that they're crazy. You know what I'm saying? And we know that that's been happening across the board in our communities. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying all Black communities are the same, because they're not. We have communities that are impoverished in the Black community, and then we also have communities that are middle class, and then we have those that are more upper class, right? So we have different communities within the country or within America. We understand that completely. You know what I'm saying? But most of us know that most of us grew up in the inner cities. If you grew up in the inner city, you know what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's what has been happening. Like, you know what I mean? So I'm not gonna say, that's all I gotta say. You know what I mean? I know Sophisticated Jerk want to, share his piece, but yeah.
I got a question for you. Don't go. 84.
I'm here.
Okay, question for you. When I say vulnerability, give me 3 words that come to mind.
Vulnerability, openness, what else? Fear, and my first name, who I actually really am, which I won't say on here, but that's what I think about with vulnerability. And the reason why I say my regular name, which I won't share, is because when I'm him and I'm being that's when I'm at. That's when I'm vulnerable. You know what I mean? When I'm Mr. Best, you're getting a side of him, but you're not getting him completely. And you'll never get him completely because he is a treasure. He is a king. He's a god. He is something that should be honored and loved. You know what I mean? And gives that honor and love back. You know what I'm saying? So that's what vulnerability means to me. You know what I mean? And yeah, you know what I mean? And I say fear because in vulnerability, there is some fear there because you don't know how it's going to be received. You know what I mean? I throw a fourth word out there, refreshing. You know what I mean? Because when you're vulnerable, you're able to be refreshed. And then the first word I used was openness. You know what I mean? Because it allows you to open up yourself, open up your heart, your mind, your spirit. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? And everything else. You know what I mean? So, and your emotions, of course. But yeah, that's what I think of when you say vulnerability. So yeah.
Oh man, thank you, Mr. Best. Thank you for being vulnerable and open.
And you know what? Since he said that, I'm sorry, but he said a lot of that is from feeling a survival mode. You say our people. I think it's a lot of survival mode. Only way you can survive is suppress any emotion, because when you're in survival mode, you don't need anything else but the bare minimum. So when you start, that's how you start noticing people are getting in a better place in their life. They start having more emotional issues. And that's why I think we all reference white people with having all this, they look like the anxiety and all that. It's because the further they go with being more safe and more, I want maybe the word, but where they don't, you're not at the point where you're surviving. You don't worry about the basic needs. Now you're on another level when you're worried about extra stuff. Then that's when your emotions are more important. When you're at the bottom, you don't care about if you hurt your foot, you just go to work. But when you get more successful, then you have the option to start worrying about other things which are more emotional. I think kind of shows our growth as a people.
But I was gonna say, Stanley, real quick, Stan, I like what you were saying is like, say, because somebody like me, I don't have too many emotions, but I do allow people to be emotional to me. So I think that's important when you said that. So I like what you said. So I just wanted to mention that because it's like if you can't express it, but allow other people to be safe, like Ms. Polly was saying, like allow that safe space for other people, you know.
Yeah, and just know, like, you do.
Hey, Jerk, I'm glad that you said that too. You mind if I jump in, Stan, after you?
I want to answer real quick, Sophisticated Jerk. I just want you to know, you do have emotions. You're not a robot. You're not a tin man. You have emotions. I just want you to know that. You got it. All right? I don't know nobody tell you that you're a robot. You're not a robot, man. You have a heart. You love people. I seen you laugh. I seen you want to do work for the community. You're going to take your son around the world, which is great. I wish my father was like that. Or my stepfather. But, you know, I take what I can get from those men. And it's great that you know, going to another level. And, man, that's great, man.
I appreciate that.
No problem. No problem. All right, M3. I know you got something, and I know we got Deja, because this show is all about Deja.
Okay. Salute, Chris. Salute, Mr. Best. Salute, Deja. Yeah, like when Sophisticated Jerk was talking about, like, sometimes, like, you know, him, you know, kind of being like his stoic self is allowing other people to look at him like as a safe haven. You know, that's kind of like how people, like, you know, view me as. I mean, they don't go into the details to it, but I'm just like, damn, like, you know, I'm not just like your priest or anything. And, you know, it got people like confessing sins and all that, you know. But the thing is that when I think what people look at it as, let me bring Chris up there. I think a lot of times people look at, because like you're not like a type of person that you just go around and you just openly salute, bro, salute. You just openly like just talk about everything in life. They, in a weird way, okay, I'm just talking about the weird aspects. In a weird way, people feel like they could trust you because they look at you as a person that's not gonna say much, that's not gonna volunteer. Like, if you don't volunteer to put your whole entire business out there to like a whole bunch of random people or people that you just meet and they see that, then they're like, okay, I could kind of somewhat like trust them a little bit to share some type of information, you know? And a lot of times I just sit back and I just listen to a lot of things that they talk about. I've listened to stories of, you know, infidelity, stories of abuse, stories of all kinds of stuff. And I will never share it, not even to my wife. I would never share it to anybody else. Now, I'll use examples and scenarios, you know what I mean? But as far as like being a blabbermouth and disclosing like any names and going into straight details, I'm not that type of guy. So I think that's where people feel like that safe space. But again, you gotta be the one to find someone that you can also share like your trauma, share like your feelings. And if not, I'm gonna just put it like this, man. Go to God with like your emotions, or you know, wherever you have to be, like in a prayer closet or somewhere. I think when you're by yourself, to be honest with you, that's where like you're definitely at your most vulnerable self, because you ain't gotta think too much. You ain't gotta worry about the judgment from other people or the reaction. You're more liberated to be loose and to be you. So I digress on that one.
All right, thanks, man. Deja. ¿Qué pasa?
Oh, qué bueno, ¿qué pasa?
Yo aquí.
¿Cómo estás? ¿Cómo estás?
That's hilarious. What's
So,
going on?
so Deja, how long have you been making men feel unsafe out here? No, I'm joking.
Never. No, I'm kidding. Actually, even though I did my best when I was married, he did say that there were areas that I could have improved on when it came to allowing him to be vulnerable. So that's honest. But I learned from it, and here we are.
You want to
But-
share with that? Like, what was the area that you need to work on?
So he felt like whenever he would come to me with an issue, I would be more so quick to try to solve the problem. Whereas he just wanted me to listen. He didn't really want, he wanted to figure it out, but he said he didn't really want the feedback as much. And then he said, he just wanted me to be a listening ear. And then he said, because of my own insecurities, and not just insecurities, let me stop saying that, but because of my own traumas that I didn't deal with at that time, he felt like if he tried to talk to me about something, it might trigger me, and he didn't want that. And so he kept it to himself. And then, of course, I just wasn't around. Not that I neglected them, but I was working 2 jobs. So I would leave at like 6 a.m., come back at like 10 p.m. I would still be up. I'd still cook dinner. I'd still like help my nephew with his homework because we had adopted him at that time. So I was still doing everything, but it still didn't give him a space to just talk. And so I failed not failed, but I could have done better with my time in that space. And I could have been more open to listening to him rather than like I'm going off of what I think should happen, like not making it about me. Especially when it came to the whole trauma thing. Like when he told me that, again, we had these conversations after we got divorced, but when he told me that, it kind of hurt a little bit because I was like, damn, that's selfish as hell. But in those moments, I didn't know. I was just going off of what my brain was doing, whatever it was doing. So yeah, those were the things I had to work on. And now I feel like I'm in a space where I control my triggers and everything. So I don't have to worry about that anymore. That's my dog's butt. So just ignore that. It was a little journey learning that, but I definitely feel like I have the capacity to handle vulnerability now. By the way, I had a couple comments because I took notes.
For whom?
Well, I just put like little things. So number 1, you asked what 3 words does vulnerability like?
Well, I say vulnerability. What are 3 words that come to mind?
Yes.
So for you,
I agreed with what he said. I agree.
Your own words, your own 3 words.
I got you. I feel like it's respect, trust, and courage. And I feel that because it's respect both ways, because when you can relate to somebody, you will respect their boundaries, and you'll respect their boundaries, and then you'll actually do what was best. So like how M3 was like, oh, I'm not going to, blurt out all these people's things. Yeah, it's called a confidentiality agreement. Like these are like real things that are in place, especially in like domestic violence and sexual abuse places. So it's like whenever you're disclosing information to someone, if you don't want it to be said, technically, if you tell this person, I don't want you to say this, legally, they technically can't. So
Okay.
it's one of those like, well, I won't say legally, but like even in the legal system, you technically can't. So it's just one of those like trust, respect needs to be in there, respecting each other's boundaries, respecting what they're saying. And what I learned, not putting in your own input until they ask. So I feel like that's a form of respect. And then courage, because like Beth said, it's fearful to do this. It is so scary to put your emotions out there, no matter how simple. Like someone could just be like, I like you. It's simple words, but it's vulnerable as fuck. And sometimes it takes people a minute to say that. But it's like when you finally have the courage to step off that fear and you express it, you feel so much more liberated, like he said. So, and then you kind of prove to yourself, like, no, I can do this.
You know what's so weird? We're in polar opposites of this, right? So for me, it was unprotected and I'm going to be punished.
Oh.
So I don't know, Miss Polly, did you get a chance to answer that question? You want to answer it? What was your 3 words or 2 words for vulnerability when vulnerability comes up for you?
Let's see. I'll say
your business question after her.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll say trust. Trust comes to mind.
Trust?
Sorry. Yeah, trust.
Y'all got different. No, I like it because
Yeah,
like,
sorry, no.
It's so like
say trust. Honesty. And safety. Yeah.
Well, my 3rd word would be weaponized. That was my 3rd word.
Wow. So
it
sounds like you have a lot of trauma with vulnerability, period.
I'm a guy. So it means something different for me.
No.
No, it
okay,
was the
wait.
first half
Change your way you're looking at it. What would vulnerability look like in a positive form for you?
No, for me then, right? For me, when somebody's vulnerable to me, I need to protect them.
Yes.
I need to make sure they're rewarded for the vulnerability, right?
Yeah.
And I also need to make sure that it's not weaponized against them. Because on the flip end for me, I have my 3, which is I've been punished, I feel unprotected, and it's been weaponized. That's my whole life. So I'm very I gotta see how you operate. I know Marcus is here. Marcus, that's you? Because I can't see. I'm on my
that's Marcus.
Yeah, that's me.
What's up, Marcus?
What's up? How's everybody doing?
On my iPhone. I'm sorry, so I'm not on the tablet.
What's
so
good, Marcus?
like,
But Stan, that is
Spider-Man.
No, it's Deadpool. You know, Mark with him. Yeah, what's up?
But Stan, that is funny how like I say the females had like a positive like outlook on the when you asked for the 3 words, and the guys, I know mine was like negative as hell. So yeah,
well,
it's interesting.
So let me be honest. The very first thing that came to mind was fear, but I had to rethink about it because I had to understand what was the strengths of vulnerability. So instead of saying it as what I've experienced, which was very similar, I have felt like anytime, because especially as a woman, we get called dramatic. We get told that really didn't happen, that it really wasn't a big deal like that, that you're making it, you're making it a bigger deal than what it is. I'm sure they didn't mean it. Like, that's what we get told. So we don't get heard. And, were you going to say something?
Me? Oh, no, I was going to say, you said you're overreacting. I do say to my kids too, sometimes when they get after, I say selling it, stop selling it.
Okay, like, see, that's different.
You know what I'm talking about? They selling it.
That still sounds like dramatic to me.
Dream. That's what I'm saying. Being over I'd be like, you selling it. Stop selling
that's
it.
a little different.
You said they out here fucking like
that still falls under dramatic though, right?
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, if somebody starts crying, because you see sometimes like when someone's hurt or something, they kind of be over dramatic. I say stop selling it. I ain't buying.
There's just, they say that in the adult world too.
Yeah.
I'll say it like that. So it's serious though. After a while, you start thinking, well, like, what's the point? So from there, it does take courage to step up to know, okay, I have to do this because it's a strength. Like I have to, it's like going to work out. Like I hate it. I'm gonna be honest. But I used to be a fitness instructor. I was a trainer for like 4 years. I kickboxed for 3. Like I taught kickboxing for 3 years and I trained for 4. So I've always been to fitness all my life. But I hate working out. But I know the results of it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, I'm going to force myself through this, push myself through this to find my strength. And then I'm going to use that strength to my benefit. So that's why whenever I thought vulnerability, I'm thinking, okay, what does vulnerability feel like for me? I'm thinking, what is vulnerability supposed to look like? That's how I took it. What is it supposed to look like?
What's it supposed to look like? That's what I took it as too.
Exactly.
Is it vulnerability or just trying to fight the laziness?
Well, let me ask you, Marcus, because Marcus, can I ask Marcus a question real quick?
Yeah.
So, Marcus, you are a 3rd military guy. Congratulations. Welcome to the right.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. Starting off like that. Let's go.
So when I say the word vulnerability, give me 3 words that come to mind for you. 2, 3 words.
Basically, like just letting your guard down, letting people in, whether it's like a love interest or a friendship or family, and then just saying things that you would have never said to anybody else or most people, you know, in public or behind closed doors.
Okay, so sharing emotions.
Not just emotions, but more of whatever it could be. Right.
With positive regards, because it's, you know, just like thoughtful wishes or positive regards, meaning you notice an achievement of the person, acknowledgement.
Yeah.
Okay.
That too.
So can I comment real quick to?
Yes, go for it.
Where was
Uncle
that?
Trey or Sophisticated Jerk or
No, it said it was something like here it is. How do you teach or show a person how to be vulnerable or how to be vulnerable with you? I don't feel like that was a great ass question because we talk about it, but there's nothing actionable about it, right? So here's what's actionable from me, or from what I think. If you're trying to look for someone to be vulnerable with, you can't just be vulnerable with anybody, obviously.
Yeah.
But you have to also look at the circumstances. Who's around? Are they a third party? Are they involved? Do you want their perspective? Is it an outside perspective? Like, you need to ask yourself these questions to figure out, is this a safe space for you? If you feel like you can trust this person and they kind of meet your qualifications, then a lot of times when you start sharing stories, it naturally happens. I can tell you every single time I've related to somebody, it's because they shared a story and I shared a story. They shared a story and I shared a story. And it just kept going back and forth. And then believe it, from there, it's almost like an equal exchange. If you want to put it in negative terms, it's almost like I got something on you just like you got something on me. So it's one of those, like, when you build, but in this place, it's more so you're building that relationship. So I'm building with you, you're building with me, and then to me, that's how it is. So you give these people a safe space by, I heard Miss Polly say it, you give them a safe space by listening, by not reacting in negative ways, not retaliating, not literally just listening. Literally just listening. You don't have to say a word, just listen. And if they ask for, when or if they ask for your opinion, then you give it to them. So I feel like it's just one of those, you have to learn what trust looks like for you. And then you have to understand that vulnerability sometimes takes vulnerability. So one of you guys got to take the first step. and then I promise you, naturally, it comes. So, those are my thoughts. If anyone wants to add
No, I
in.
like them. I like them.
I was gonna tell you something.
Go
You know,
for it.
So when you talk about that too, like how do you find, like when do you know? I think that's also like, okay, so I like more serious. Like if I, I'm real open to different kinds of personalities, but I tend to like more serious people who are like the opposite of me, who are more serious or realist. They have probably dark humor, is because like you can, for me, so when they share, it's like it's underneath. Like I can see it. So when they share, I can quickly pick up on it. You can quickly see if someone who's always in a particular mindset, when they come to you, it's a lot easier to see when they're being vulnerable. People who are like very talkative and excited all the time, it's like they tell everybody all their business all the time. It's kind of hard to see like, okay, who didn't you tell that to? Like, like, am I, you sharing that with me or you sharing that with everybody? And it is, because that gives you it's a level of intimacy.
Mm-hmm.
It's a level of intimacy. So even with friends, there's a level of intimacy. That's why your best friend might tell you about, when they did something wild. It's because of the intimacy between you and that person, because that safe space is real special. So especially if you have a partner or something, if they haven't told you a horrible story, they really say, I never told anyone this. They probably aren't that intimate with you on that emotional level way. So, that's why it's kind of like different. We see new people out here dating, they just being like banging each other. Like, oh, that's my man, girl. No, you was giving him all your body, and gentlemen, you was giving all that D and all that vitamin C, but you sure wasn't giving no intimacy. Okay.
No vitamin I, huh? No vitamin I.
No, it was none of that. There was none of that. So it's a little funny to see, like, they just be dating.
That's dope. I've been on the other side of it where my vulnerability was taken advantage of, and I had to remind them who I am.
Oh, wait a minute. You petty. I don't even want to hear how this happened.
I had to remind them who I am.
What's that mean? What'd you do? He was bad. Look at his face.
I have to remind them who I am.
And Breaking Bad, I am the one who knocks.
Yeah, I have to remind them who I am. I have to remind them who I am. And don't get it twisted, because you crossed the boundary, right? I want to say that, and they crossed the boundary and they knew it. And because they thought they could continue to cross the boundary, I just have to remind them.
Habitual line stepper. Okay.
Who I am. And also let them know that the next time, there will be no next time. But you'll be allowed to remember who I am after that too. But there will never be a next time.
Oh, wow.
Let me ask you this question, Stan. Anybody else could kind of chime in as well.
Oh,
too.
Lord. I know when you ask me a question, it's about to be a come to Jesus moment.
No. But let's say, for instance, like you, okay, let's say someone did violate, like your trust.
Yeah.
But this is just like a first offense.
Nope.
But the person built that rapport first to even build it. So if that person makes a mistake, or mess up, are you going to completely cut that person off?
It's a new relationship. It's a new relationship. I don't trust you. You have to rebuild.
But will you give that person the ability?
No.
So then there's never going to be a rebuild.
No, it's a rebuild because it's different. Because if you've learned from children, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I learned from kids.
It's kind of like you're on probation, basically.
No, it's not probation.
Not even probation.
It's a new relationship because I don't know who you are anymore. I thought you were this person. Now you're this person. So you're a person I cannot. When you say that you're going to take half of my Oreo cookies and you're going to pay me back, that's not who you are. So
now he's going to go to Chips Ahoy.
You 3 Oreo cookies and keep the rest to myself. When you say you're going to pay me back money, that's not who you are. I have to be okay with giving you the money. It's now a different relationship. I'm human. This whole thing about forgive and forget, that only works for the person that's going to continue to ask for forgiveness. That works for them. That don't work for me. For me, that's going to take me down to a rabbit hole of despair, feeling neglected and feeling treated bad, seeing myself in a different point of view, like I don't deserve it, I have no value, is not good for me. So for me to continue in the relationship, I have to change it because it does not work right now. It's a different relationship.
And honestly, so can I piggyback off that real quick? Because great news, got a new job. Woo! Promise this.
What, is this your 3rd job or is this your 4th job?
Probably my 3rd. I don't remember.
Congratulations.
But,
You're Jamaican.
Congrats.
But no, I only say that because I work with our metropolitan organization that combats sexual assault. And in that, confidentiality is so important. And it's to the point where as soon as something is breached, as much as a occupation, even if you were to say, yeah, this person was a waitress, even as much as that is considered a breach of contract because our breach of confidentiality, well, on the legal side for organizations and things like that. But the thing is, it's like that because how severe the trust is broken. That's why it's so important, because as soon as they just got a job, like Calvin. Who's Calvin?
You don't know.
Oh, Calvin, McDonald's Calvin. Calvin got a job at McDonald's.
Yeah, from Chappelle Show.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm done. Anyway, but yeah, that's the point. Like, so that's how important trust is with something that's so vulnerable. They have laws around it because people have to be able to feel completely secure. One little level, because it's exactly what you said, Stanley, and it's statistically proven. They feel embarrassed. They feel blamed, like they can blame themselves. They'll feel like someone's going to judge them. They're going to feel like their information is going to get out. There's too many fears around it. So, no, you cannot. The relationship is not the same when vulnerability is breached. It's just like relationships are not the same when betrayal is breached. I mean, they're synonymous. So,
and it's not unforgiveness because
it's not unforgiveness.
I've gone through therapy. It's not unforgiveness. I have to change it. I can't control that person.
Exactly.
So now the only person I can control is me.
And your environment.
Yeah. And I have to change it. I have to change the friendship. I have to change the relationship for myself so I could continue. I didn't cut them off. It's now change. It's just different.
You have to tell them that the relationship changed.
No.
You really don't. You just move accordingly. So it's like there's no loss given. You recover and you heal on your own until you find that space. So those are my thoughts.
What's your next question? What was Unc at? Unc, you around? Marcus?
Yeah, he's still around.
Okay.
No, we're here. I'm still here.
Okay. You got any questions, Marcus? 84?
I think Uncle Ferg is next.
Where you at, Uncle Ferg?
Probably took a break for a second. He'll be
Sorry,
back.
can you hear me, man? Yeah, man, I ain't really got nothing, man. Y'all moving and grooving, man. Just know, man, look, it's the year of the man. You done had experiences of being vulnerable. Now go have experiences of being a king God. That's all you got to do, man. No more vulnerability. Save all your damn money. Teach your children, I'm telling you, to work out tenfold. They'll be greater than us. That's what we're supposed to do. So I appreciate you, Stanley, man. Keep it going and stop lying out here, man. All you other guys, M3, you know what I'm saying? Marcus, who is that? Mr. Vestas, Deja. You letting all that beauty go to waste. Polly, you keep polying out here. Because you killing it. I wish you can take all that what you got and spread it in a lot of these good dudes out here. You'll be They'll be king out here.
I'll tell you what I think is funny though. Like when I first started kind of talking, like everyone
King
thought it was
Lemuel.
weird that I thought my audience would be women. It was men.
That's how mine is with my art. Well, anyway.
I appreciate y'all, man.
Yeah.
Y'all have a good night here.
Bye,
All right,
sir.
you gotta go. All right, Mr. Ferg, man. Thank you for tuning in.
I don't know.
All right, much appreciated.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be ladies. It was not. Actually, I lied. I didn't judge anybody, but it ended up being a lot more men.
I mean,
Asking for information.
Information because your information was true. Like people don't know they are in a polyamorous relationship. Like when I talked to a certain person last week about like there is a schedule.
Don't look at me because I'm not doing no goddamn schedule. I'm not doing it. I'm too selfish, and I am selfish. I will claim it. I'm selfish as hell.
I did have a question. I don't know if you guys answered it already.
No, go
in
ahead,
the panel
Marcus.
earlier.
Go ahead. What's
I was gonna ask everybody here, like, were you at some point always vulnerable or always like the person that was very welcoming?
Oh no.
Because there's people out there, you know, like some people are very gullible, other people are very welcoming. Some people, you know, big heart or just how they were raised. So I don't know.
No.
Or were you guys always stern and limited, and you guys held your boundaries or had a wall?
I go through a lot.
Let me. First of all, I didn't learn what emotions were until I was like 26. So it took me because I had to do that suppress, like Miss Polly was saying earlier, survival mode. You don't feel shit when you're in survival mode. You just know you gotta go. And once you finally settle down and you get peace, you're like, yo, where is this emotion coming from? Like, why am I not having to use it? Why am I angry for no reason? Why? So it took quite literally a full breakdown for months and months and months to really understand how important it is to understand your emotions. And once I actually learned why it's important, that's when I was like, yo, there's so many hurt people out here who don't understand that this is what they need. So once I learned it myself, that's when I started being like, okay, no, vulnerability is a good thing. It's okay. Like, even if people talk about you, like, who fucking cares? They're just people. Like, what is a mere mortal gonna do to me? And that's in the Bible. So yeah, but no, I was never ever vulnerable. You would not see me cry. You would not hear me talk. I'm always happy, kind of thing. Had that mask on, didn't trust nobody to talk to my feelings about, didn't even think my feelings were valid. People were crossing all kinds of boundaries. So yeah, it's a process. That's all.
Real quick, did you allow people to cross those boundaries, or they did it regardless of you letting them know or not?
Both. Very
and
much.
Is that what caused you to like have like a even bigger guard up or wall or set boundaries?
Yeah.
And
because I didn't understand too, like I didn't even understand my boundaries because they were crossed so much. Whereas like in my mind, I feel like those would be boundaries, but in reality, it seems like no one's listening to them. So I'm like, are they boundaries? So I just felt like my voice was never heard. And so with my voice not being heard, I'm like, well, what the fuck is talking gonna do? I went to so many therapists and they were trying to get things out of me. And I'm just like, this is not going to work. Like, what else do you have for me? But like, I didn't trust anybody. So it took like a physical breakdown to where I had no control of it in order for me to understand, like, this is what crying feels like. So took a lot.
I feel you guys.
Hey, sorry about that. I got a phone call. Like, I didn't know I get phone calls while on.
Yeah, you get phone calls, and if you answer, you're gonna get booted.
you get texts, you get voicemails. You also can do like ringtones.
No,
you get a wallpaper.
It blocks them, and then I'm like, this must be an emergency because this never happened before.
Nah, you just gotta get that laptop. Go ahead, Mr.
You're popular. You're popular.
You asked like, when did you like? I would say like I built a really good wall. Like so when I was really young, like I think I went through a lot of emotional things really young, and I did by myself, which were not good. Like I remember, like I was very, very emotional. I was very young about feeling like by myself and like no one cared. Which was a lot because my mom was bipolar, had the bipolar depression. And since I figured out fairly quickly after being sad and kind of getting through depression and feeling like, what's the point of me being here? And I found that purpose for myself. Then I started saying, I have to be strong so that she wouldn't feel like I was a burden. So like I was a burden. But I knew that if I was tough and I had to worry about that, I would just be left alone, which meant I could still, gonna live in the same place, all this stuff. Like she wasn't gonna send me away, things like that. So you gotta learn to kind of keep your walls up. And I think that was okay for me for a little bit because it'll get you through, right? It'll get you through. But I think when I started like just observing people more, seeing that like even when I was vulnerable, that other people didn't respond to that their way I thought they should. And I always wondered like why. Because a lot of people aren't taught to know how to respond to people being vulnerable in their correct way. So like a lot of that, you just kind of learn the process. I probably didn't get soft, like nice, like real open about stuff. Probably a little bit later. And that was because I wanted to be me, regardless of how others were treating me, and realizing that what I give is not expected back. That's the really no one, because a lot of people with expectation. Oh, if I treat you this way, you should treat me back the same way. It's not going to be that way. They're not you, and they're on a different journey. You have to know that what you give is because you're giving it because you want to give it.
Because you're actually a selfless person.
That's how you should be. And if you're not, it's just what it is. So you're going to be disappointed, upset because you're expecting something in response. You shouldn't have expectations on that. It should just be like, I'm giving you this. And then you give me back something. If you don't like what they're giving you, then you just go on your way. It's nothing about like, oh, you should have gave me this, so we're not gonna, you should have gave me this attention. No, they can't provide it. It's not that they can't provide it. Go somewhere else. It's not like a mean, like people put in the extra emotion. It's not about that. If someone can't give you something, it's okay too, because they're not there. And being okay with that. That's like takes a long time for people to accept those kind of things. And unfortunately, I really don't have those kind of conversations on a lot of panels because a lot of people aren't in that space and you can see it. So you're trying to tell someone, hey, you're like they should listen to me. And if they're not giving me this, they're not giving it to you because they couldn't give it to you. And you kept trying to be with them and force them to give you something they can't not give. And that's why I say the three things is what you can give, what you want, and what you need. And you need to know those before you date anybody, point blank, or even get in a relationship. Because it's not about what you can give them. It's also about what you can receive from them and what you actually need. Because a lot of us think we need things we don't really need. They're like stupid things. What you want, what you need, and what you can give. And you need to focus on those and then kind of find that person that fits in that, regardless of what you want. It might not be what you need.
That's a great explanation.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I like that. All right, my turn.
He said, I can shut up.
So for me, now I'm going to be vulnerable. It's August will be my 7th year that I survive almost taking myself out.
Released it, yeah.
Almost released. So it's going to be my 7th years at August, and I've learned that because it was the environment I was in. This definitely exposed my vulnerability. It was not okay. They put in the triggers that they learned from me that I opened up and reintroduced those triggers back, which then started my psychosis, and it wasn't nice. And, luckily I sought the help and I got some people to help me out and I got a chance to leave that environment. It's still there, but it's 4 years ago, I definitely cut myself off, but it still affected me. So I had to learn to not be open, and it was okay. And it's I still have a relationship with God, but I'm okay with not going to a church. I have to get to that place just to be in my valley and be okay. And And a lot of times I get asked to come back, and I'm just like, only you could prevent forest fires. Only you. So
Smokey the Bear. Smokey the Bear.
That's real talk, Stan. I'm going to
'cause I'm
chime in
like,
after you.
I cannot, in all goodness and everything, and I still have to do the work. And when I tell people like this stuff, they're like, "Well, you're healed." I'm like, no, I have to continue journaling. I have to take my medication. I gotta like stick with my family. When somebody from an organization reach out, there's a drill. I have to let my doctor know, and I have to let my family know. So when I say like I don't have that ability to be that open, is because like, yo, like I have kids I gotta take care of right now. I got a life I gotta move forward on. So I will never be that vulnerable, nor do I want to be that vulnerable, because what I learned from that is not everybody wants to be your friend. Not everybody wants to take care of you, and not everybody is there to build you up. There are some people who takes joy in seeing you fall. And that is something I've learned and had to make peace with. And with that, I'm also there to advocate when somebody bullies someone else. Because guess what? As adults, bullying don't stop. And if you grew up in the 80s and 90s and 2000, them bullies was horrible. I was like, how you survive? Because there was some evil-ass kids and evil-ass adults, evil-ass teenagers, and they evil-ass ministers. And they just grow up. And it's like, and that organization for me, right, it got to the point for me, I stopped sitting in the middle pew. I had to sit in the far right, close to the windows and the doors, just in case. So I don't know who they upset and who they, you know, people who got maladaptive behavior, you don't know what they done. And then in leadership, you cannot be the first person that somebody they see. It's like, no. I just like to learn that stuff. But all that to say, like, you learn, like, I don't want 5,000 people knowing me. I'm okay with the 5 I got. I'm good. And you learn, for me, I've learned that it's okay to not know everybody like that. You can't be vulnerable with everyone. Sometimes you're the friend. Not all relationships are reciprocal. Sometimes somebody's going to take from you. Sometimes somebody will give to you.
It's usually transactional.
Yeah, it's reciprocal. Well, I'll say reciprocal. I don't say transactional, because transactional seems prostitutious.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if that's a word, but in college you used to make up words so you could pass the numbers.
Right. Yeah.
Prostitutious. But
it's a new urban dictionary. Appreciate you.
But it has to be reciprocal. There's sometimes reciprocal relationships is okay, but a lot of times I'm okay with just giving. And I'm okay with sometimes somebody's giving to me and I'm grateful, because people don't know, like, if you're a firstborn child, I don't know if people on here is a firstborn child, you don't get gifts, you just get responsibilities.
Man.
That's all you get.
The second and the third child gets all the good stuff.
And then they give you their responsibilities. And that's all you
makes me so angry.
That's all you get. So what I've learned in therapy, that I have to change my friendships and allow my friends to take care of me. Some friendships, I'm the little brother, and I have to just go ahead and enjoy it. Other ones, we're just twins. Other ones, I'm the middle child in the group. I just know that I don't want to be in charge. I just know I just can't do it. And the same thing with my job. They want to be a manager. No. I don't want to do management because it looks too familiar to my family life. It looks too familiar from the church life I left. I need to just do my job and get out of here. That's where I'm at, because mentally, I cannot handle all that stuff. It's just way too much. But I'll never say that, I will never say that with HR. I'm like, right now, I just want to grow in the areas outside of my frame of practice.
They know.
I was gonna. There's I don't know if you guys heard of a saying, but there's a saying called the number 2 guy points the problem, but it still lands on the number 1 guy to solve it.
Yeah.
Never heard that saying, but
yeah.
Me neither. That's a.
Yeah, the number 2 guy just points out the problem, but he's not supposed to solve it. The number 1 guy does.
Sounds about right.
I think that
Yep.
Well, that's
Yeah.
Chocolate Warrior. I can't see. Oh,
Because
that's
it still
Chocolate
lands on it still lands on the number one guy.
I know.
Let me say this. Yeah, fam, let me say this real quick, and salutes to Chocolate Warrior, and appreciate you for coming up.
Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up?
Yeah. First off, Stan, definitely major salutes to you for sharing that, man, because
we have to see it. That's what I want to say.
But yeah, that type of stuff, we never want to take anything lightly. You know what I mean? And we gotta really look at it. Hold for a minute. There she moving. But we definitely have to look at that, man, and take that seriously, because the thing is, even though I haven't been in your shoes like that, Stan, but I had similar situations, dealing with other people who felt like guys. I'm talking about just like guys, and some women as too, but mostly men feeling at an all-time low. And imagine you try to build that man up, build that man's self-esteem up, because that man was vulnerable with a group of people, and they took that information, already prejudged him, and then you share negative information to people that that he probably would have been destined to be with. So I'll explain this more when we have our midweeks saga part 2. You know what I mean? But all this is important, man, for men, because the thing is, a lot of men do go through the thoughts of self-deletion. And that is because you were vulnerable to a group of other men. You know what I mean? And they betrayed that trust. And not only they betrayed your trust, but then they also labeled you as someone who you're not. And I think the reason why, for me, my heart could get I could get to okay, I'm not phased about this and I'm phased not about that anymore.
Is this in regards to the question I asked earlier, M3, or just your own thing?
No.
It's
to that.
Yeah, but this is about more response to Stan when he was sharing about self-deletion. So the thing is that for me, man, because I'm used to people heard out accusations or prejudging me based off of what they perceive me as, I just know for sure it's okay, in order for me to have a sense of peace and mental sanity, anybody who prejudges me, or anyone who throws out false accusations, I'm not gonna give them any room for any rebuild, any friendship. They get cut off immediately, because once I cannot trust you, I don't want to be around with you. You know what I mean? And and that goes to the same thing, some of these YouTubers or whatever. Once you break a certain amount of trust, where I know that you cannot be trusted, I'm not gonna want to mess with you. Point blank, period. I wouldn't even want to dare do business with you, even if in some cases it may make a lucrative amount of money. But the thing is, if I can't trust your character, then I can't feel that mental clarity, that sanity around you. I gotta make sure I always gotta stay on my toes, and I never want to have that type of feeling ever again. You know what I mean? So I've already dealt with it with a large community of certain folks, and I'm in my new life trying to pretty much get a fresh start, and and I'm enjoying it. And yeah.
I want to say thank you for being there. You and 84, during that time, you guys helped me out a lot. And here's something that I want people to understand what happened at that time. Just real quick. It'll be moments where M3 and 84 are giving me great encouragement and talks, right? And then immediately after that, that's when it was an emergency meeting, and to go ahead and then put doubts in my head, and to go ahead and introduce The same trauma I told you in the Bible study that broke me down, you put it back on me again. And then that's what built up into my psychosis is re-indoctrination, putting trauma back into my life, to go ahead and speak ill will towards me, and just smile in my face, and then behind my back, turn people around because they've done it to me with a roommate before, and I had to fix that. But at the same time, I'm going around still doing my work as a minister in ministry and helping out the single ministry, and still being giving and still doing stuff. While at the same time, these people are still coming in, and you're my leader and everything else. And you know I have a kid, and you know my family needs me to take care of this kid, and you still went in on me like that. And there was a point where I had to travel. Now, Vallejo, I'm going to say it because Vallejo to Hayward is a drive, and that's almost like an hour and a half drive. I had to drive for a study and for these people to not show up because they were busting nuts in their sin. And I had to travel back by myself from that long drive. So that's like 3 hours I don't get back from my life.
They were busting what?
Nuts.
Man, they was jerking off.
They were jerking off, right?
What the hell?
To go ahead and again,
I'm glad you asked. Thank you.
To talk bad about me and to go ahead and
Unfortunately, I had to just clarify.
No, you're great. So constantly, it was meetings upon meetings, and it was not talking about one meeting a week. Sometimes it's 3 a week. When you have 3 a week to a year, imagine what that does that to your psyche. And then that night, when I was going to go ahead and just do it, God came in. The person was supposed to relieve me at midnight and didn't show up. So I had to stay at my job. My coworker stayed with me because he noticed something was wrong. Had me call the hospital. I went in. They saw me right away. They were going to put me in the 5150 hold. They put me on something else because I was able to identify what was the triggers. I went down everything, what was happening. They had notified me, let me know this was a cult. But also they realized that I saw this more like it's still my church. So they didn't try to pull me away from it. It was like 4 years of therapy I had to go through to see it for myself, that I had to get out because I would start getting anxiety attacks. Like literally I put on my church clothes and it's 3 hours later I had just passed by and it felt like it was just a minute. And I'll wake up. It was just that bad. And for my family to cry and to like, we almost lost you to church. Like of all things, this is what we're going to lose you to is to church. And, you know, they brought my kid around, so I was able to spend more time. And, you know, to this day, I'm so grateful because I'm seeing her as 12. Each year, I'm just so happy because, you know, people like, why you always smiling, Stanley? Well, guess what, guys? I wasn't going to be here. I was not going to be here. And it was like, and I'm still vulnerable. I'm still open. I'm very protective of it because I know what it means to be vulnerable and to help somebody else through their life. God put us all out here to help other people. I'm not an island. But at the same time, I got to protect myself because the people I trusted did not protect me. And they wanted to like eliminate me for whatever reason. And they could come up with excuses now, but it's 7 years later. I don't trust them. Well, actually, let me just say this publicly. I don't trust you. If you're listening, I will never trust you. It will never happen. I don't need your forgiveness. I don't need to forgive you. I already prayed and done. There'll be no trust. What you done to me and to other people who eliminated themselves, and to tell me I was going to hell, and to tell me if I wasn't around I could have helped that person, that's bullshit. You know what you were doing. You know what the organization does. Y'all have a lot to answer for. And that is not my part. I do not own it. This is stuff you're going to have to handle, and you're going to answer to God and to that family. And you got to answer to my family. Because my family got your pictures. We know where you stay. And so does my therapist. We're not playing around with you guys. That's all I got to say.
Much respect, Stan. Again, like, you know, these are hard conversations because the thing is, man, like, again, I'm definitely gonna save all that stuff up for midweeks. You know what I mean? So that way we could kind of break down the psyche. And here's the thing: I'm not trying to blast or slander or whatever, but I want people to really understand and be critical thinkers because, unfortunately, man, I'm gonna just flat out say this: the Bible could be the tool, but a Bible could also be a way to be used as a weapon. And we could say hallelujah, praise Jesus all we want to, which no disrespect to the Most High, but unfortunately, when black slaves, when black slaves, was manipulated by the tool of the Bible, using probably a fat fuck or whatever name, King James or whatever, and you're using it as a tool for mind control. It makes it hard for, and here's the thing: no other nationality is going to really understand because they're not going to really care about our history like that. But it makes it hard for me to even trust when people come into my life and they tell themselves as, I'm not even going to just say as Christians, but anybody that reads the book, follows it. I still read it, I still believe in some of the stories. But at the same time, I'm going to challenge myself and I'm going to challenge the other people who's reading it and be like, okay, what you're reading, is it really real? Or is it fabricated? Or how you're really receiving it? Are you going to receive it as a tool to really make you to be a better person? Or are you going to receive it as a tool to make you to be a narcissistic type of monster to control and gain profitable gains by manipulating the folks out there? Dude, like people who could have been, connected with God or had that zeal stand, they're no longer even alive because of dumb stuff. And
what's scary about that? I pray every day because I like a lot of people that passed away. I always pray like, God, did they really make it to heaven? Mm-hmm. Because the foolishness that we all got caught in. Because one thing I made sure when I was baptized, I let them know I don't do club church, like Club Med. That is something I don't do. I grew up Pentecostal. I hated it. I don't like it. Nobody likes that stuff. If you grow up in a strict church background, you don't want it. That's why a lot of us are either into witchcraft, we either become Muslims, we become agnostics, or we just like, leave me the fuck alone. I'm at the last part. Just leave me alone. I don't want, I just don't want it. Like I can study by myself. I can read stuff online. It's just no longer healthy for me to be around in a big organization. I don't see any, because my focus now is I rather focus on the family. There's one thing, give you one example. Spring break, I spent time with my daughter, right? And we're watching something called Superbook. And it was something about the king, and it was Elijah, right? And then she asked me a question. She's like, so there's a king, why there's a prophet? And I told her, like, okay, when we read the Bible, I want you to understand something. Like God didn't want to give the people a king, but he let them know, like, if you want a king, this is going to happen, but also they're still going to have a prophet. When the prophet don't listen, when the king does not listen to the prophet, God will get rid of the king. And I'm like, so explain to me what you think that will happen. She said, if I don't listen to God, God will get rid of whatever's in my way. I'm like, yeah, exactly. But it's like those moments where I can like spend time with her and we can go over like the Bible and basic Bible faith and everything else. I don't know where she's going to go. She's 12, right? She loved God and everything else. But who knows? She might be a Wiccan when she's 18. And a yoga person when she's 20. And probably going to tell me to eat veggies. And what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
They choose their own path, but you can only just spread the seed.
They grow up. I have to sit back, and just give the foundation and sit back. But I'm enjoying it. And that's the part about it that I'm just enjoying with all the kids. Even my nieces and nephews, when they ask questions, because I never come at them religious or anything like that. They just have a question. I just like, let's read this. Tell me what you think. What goes on? But I think M3, what you said is true, because like I still have those thoughts. Like, did this person make it to heaven because the environment, and not just them, it's like a lot of people. And when you go online, especially after C19, of how many people that gone on, and in the Rolling Stones articles, it's so much stuff that's there. It's crazy.
Yeah, let me finish my point, Stan.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Bess. Hold on. I'll make it quick.
Oh, you didn't finish?
No, Stan cut me off just a little bit, but no, I hear what you're saying. but the thing is that okay,
you ain't shit, M3.
I know you ain't shit either, Marcus. Okay, and that Deadpool. All right. Anyways, no, like when what I was gonna say. No, like when that person that my friend of mine said had passed away, yes, like I did have like those type of thoughts, and one of those thoughts came to my mind. It was like, dang, like like did I messed up personally? Well, not personally, but more like spiritually. What was I'm not acting right? Was I was the reason why that spiritually she wasn't like blessed or she didn't get like baptized, or that moment when she's supposed to get baptized and that person told her, oh, I feel like the sins that you confess is not good enough, and I think we need to hold out your baptism and stuff and discourage her. A lot of times, man, we don't really understand like the people that we hurt when we're not really how you pronounce it, like when we're not like empathetic or something, when we're not really feeling how the other person feel. When we have that robotic type of mindset where we're only focused on numbers or trying to make ourselves like look good, we're not even focused on that. I mean, look, there was a person recently that came to an event for the ladies, and again, unfortunately, you run into like some of the wrong type of people, and they don't open they're not open arms like with you, and you wonder like, damn, like why are you even a Christian or a so-called Christian to begin with, and you don't even like take that like I won't say that title, but you don't want to take that commitment seriously. Salutes to Braves, like I see you in the building. Salute. Thank you for tuning in. But that's all, man. I'm gonna let Mr. Best rock real quick. Bye for you,
man. Salute to my man Braves Hawk Falcons fan. I know Marcus had to say something. I know Chocolate just came in. I know she wanted to say something too. But I mean, as far as that whole movement or whatever, you already know. Like I'm heavily affiliated in that movement. You know what I mean? In various places from, New York to Cali. You know what I mean? And to other places as well. So, my thing is, I think overall, yes, there's been a lot of things that have come out. There's been articles that came out. There's been letters that came out. All types of things. And being there for almost, being affiliated for, 2 decades myself. I mean, I would say this, like, people do need to speak out more. People do need to say more. But at the end of the day, that organization is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Some of my friends that go there, they still reach out. We still talk. We still rap. You know what I mean? But, it is hard to trust it. And, I know that because it has put all of us in a vulnerable state, not in a good way, and then sometimes in a good way as well, because there are some great people there. I know that's hard to, kind of move on. But the thing that I always encourage both of y'all to do, and even myself, is that you got to move on. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. It happened. It was a chapter in my life. I'm closing it, and I got to move on. I can't look back because there's too many things. If I look back and I really focus on it, it's not gonna do me any good. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's something that I like. If somebody talks to me about it, I'll give them a little refresher, or I'll kind of build with them, but I don't really get too deep into it. You know what I'm saying? Because the last time I got deep into it, people started crying and all that type of shit. And I didn't want to. I did not want to sit through that shit. So, you know what I mean? They cry for a good reason. I share some real shit, but at the end of the day, it just is what it is at this point, man. I'm moving on. You know what I mean? And I might come back. I might not. You know what I mean? So I know some of my friends want me to come back. Some people want me to, some people ask me where I stand with it. You know what I mean? And some people I'm more open with it about, and some people I'm not. It makes it depend on the relationship, but that's where I'm at. I know Marcus wanted to share. I know Chocolate has to share that, so that's all I want to say.
No, Chocolate, I think she's been waiting. So I'll let her go first and I'll say what I got to say after.
Chocolate, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. Hello.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
What up, Choc?
We hear you, Chocolate.
Hey, what's up? What's up?
What's up?
How y'all doing? Because all I'm gonna say. How y'all doing, beautiful people?
Doing good.
Good, good.
How about you?
Okay. You know what? I got some things in my way, but I'm feeling hopeful. You know what I'm saying? You know how you think you got an obstacle and then might be, something around the corner that's gonna change it. So, but overall, I'm good. I'm good. I wanted to say that I appreciate both the sisters and as well as you, Stanley, about what you guys were just doing is vulnerability. It's levels to this. Every single one of you defined vulnerability. What can I say for that? You each are examples in a certain way, whether that type of vulnerability, someone hurt you, that encompasses a lot, right? Depending on who it is and the circumstances, our age, we got so many things going on in that cosmos of us. Vulnerability is a blanket word, right? It just covers levels of what we go through as human beings and how we cope with it. And I say that coming from my own journey as well. So I just applaud all of you. I say that.
Thank you, Chocolate. Marcus?
Yeah, no, because I was hearing the experiences you guys are going through, and I'm like, I think when it comes to that genre or that topic going down that rabbit hole, I think it's like don't put so much investment in man, because that's already, you're setting yourself up for failure in that way. And not to like cast a stone or anything towards you, Stan, because it's good that you're vulnerable and you're talking and you're letting it out and you're there, doing the therapy. But I think when I hear these kind of stories, I hear a lot of people that put their investment in worshiping like a man when you're not supposed to idolize that type of like human like that. I think we have to have our own faith in us to be able to find it out. I know hindsight 2020, but I just think I've never looked at pastors like that. I've never looked at people of these kind of grace like, oh, because you're not supposed to, like for me, like I've heard stories too of people getting taken advantage of or people going down a wrong path. And it's like, wait, this doesn't feel right. I can speak for myself where I don't feel comfortable going to a certain, Catholic church and, hindsight, what I find out later. But the good thing I knew what I knew at the time being I'm not like everybody, nobody is like me, but I just think when I hear these kind of things, I was like, that's one of the things that I just listen to in a common denominator. I'm not saying that it's probably going to be you in this case that I'm making an example of. I'm just what I hear of, what I'm saying.
Elaborate a little more when you say that vulnerability kind of idolizes men. Can you elaborate a little more on that?
Because like when people are going to these certain like functions or places or these gatherings, right? A lot of times we're going for a certain coming to terms with things and salvation and trying to cleanse ourselves, right? When we're all trying to go there. I think for the most part, like we've had a rough week. Some of us had a rough month, a rough year, a rough life. And we're just, when we get to make it to that Sunday or wherever we go to do, I think sometimes we see somebody in this type of position and we're seeing like he's the Holy Grail of what is his gospel. And I think sometimes we start putting all ourselves into that person, like he's a counselor. You know how you go to Catholic church, sometimes you sit down and do five Hail Marys, go speak to the person without even looking at them at their face. Like, Father, like, what can you tell me? But like, I don't know, like maybe I'm just different. Maybe I realized when I was younger, like, nah, like that's not how it's supposed to be. And we try to do things in the right way, but sometimes we even come out a little twisted coming from it. and without actually trying to do more homework in it.
But Marcus, it's not. That's not what actually happened. Like what actually happened with me, Stan, and M3 is
No,
that
well, I'm just saying there's like a certain in that spectrum of that area.
yeah, but it's a different system than what you're describing. Way different than what you're describing. 'Cause
Well,
when we
I
came
think what
in,
he's saying is like when it comes to, especially, well, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I very much well could be wrong. But from what I understood, I think he's also alluding to when people do idolize the messenger rather than the message.
Right.
So there are people who idolize the person that they, like he said, they are seeing as a holy grail. And I'm just gonna tell every single thing to. So it's like, don't idolize the person, idolize the message. The message is God, and we go from there. That was what I got.
And not be vulnerable, because vulnerability goes with that.
No,
Yeah,
what
but
I'm
I.
saying, it's
Oh,
not.
I'm
It's not
sorry.
like
Go ahead, sir.
it's not like a Catholic system, and I could break it down. The reason I'm breaking it down because I was in the system a little bit longer than Stan and M3. Not saying that they can't break it down, but they can. But I was there for like 20 years, right? Stan was there for I think 7, M3 I think was there for about 10 or 15.
It was like 10, almost 10, because it took me 2
Like
years
10.
out.
And I think M3 was there for like 15 years, I think, right?
Yeah. 2004 when I was baptized. Or was it 2004? No, 2005 when I was baptized. 2004 is when I came in. So
all right, so me and M3 kind of got around the same amount of time. So we've been there for like almost for like basically almost 2 decades.
yeah,
But
something
the
like
way
that,
the
yeah.
system, the way the system is this, right? This is the way the system is. When you get brought into that system that we're talking about, right? You know what I mean? They tell you that you're family. They say that, everybody's family and that we are equal, and then we have all these little meetings and these gatherings and these devotionals, right? And it really make you feel like you're a part of something. And then when you feel like you're a part of something, now they start bringing in the other messaging that goes outside of the Bible. Now they're starting to tell you who you can hang out with. Now they're telling you who you can speak to. Now they're telling you things about your family. So it's a lot different than the Catholic Church or any other church. That's not the system that was ran there. It was a completely different system. And when that was happening, right, to us, you know what I'm saying? And then I experienced it twofold because I
You
can't.
talking about Christian churches?
It's
Yeah, it was
a
a
different. It was like
non-denominational Christian church.
Yeah,
Oh.
I
Yeah, it was a
seen something
non-denominational
like
Christian
that.
church.
I actually
Yeah.
almost got recruited for something like that, but I caught on to it because their
Yeah.
Bible study didn't read
Yeah.
scripture, didn't pray beforehand, didn't. It was just like certain signs I saw that was just a little
Well,
off.
nah, but in ours there was prayer. So
Oh,
there was
so
prayer
ours
that's
and
scripture.
all that. I'm trying to break it down to y'all. So y'all gotta really, if y'all really want to know what's going on, y'all gotta really hear me thoroughly. You know what I
Okay.
mean? And I'm not saying I don't want your questions because I do, and we do want to answer your questions. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, we had prayer. There were scriptures and all that. But once they ring you in, then that's when everything starts to start, and that's when, if you don't look a certain way, or if you're not the tall, football jock, or you're not the really, really pretty girl, or you're not certain things, or you're not making a certain amount of money, you get ignored. You get treated differently. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't matter if you are doing everything you can. That doesn't matter if you're working hard. That doesn't matter if you are not falling into your sin, or not drinking the way you used to, or not sleeping with mad women or sleeping with mad men. Like, they don't care about that. If they have favoritism towards a person, they're gonna choose that person over you. You know what I'm saying? And they're not caring at the fact that, you grew up without a certain parent like I did. They're not caring that you had certain things that you were trying to deal with, certain traumas that we all had to deal with, right? They're not caring about that. So when you're being told as a member, which was I was being told that my life was not good enough for me to actually tell people about Christ, and I'm living this daily, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That's a spit in the face. You know what I mean? That's hurtful, especially for somebody who brings you in and somebody that you look at it as a brother or a fatherly figure. So this was stuff that's happening to us all the time. You know what I'm saying? And I went through it for 20 years. And I went through it as a campus person, as a single, and as a married. You know what I'm saying? So I went through 3 stages of this. And so did them 3. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we're talking about. So we're not saying it, what we're saying is based on the fact of what we had to go through the system. Now, there is some incredible people there. There are people who really do love God, who really do love people, who really do want to see people do great. But the problem is that some of these people, they don't speak up enough against the system. You know what I mean? They know that people are stealing. They know that people are messing with kids. They know that people are doing things outside the church. They know that people, you know what I mean, are hurting people spiritually and everything else, but they're not saying anything. So when I get around my friends that go there, and I'm sorry if I'm being passionate, but we here now. Y'all open the door, so now we're here. You know what I mean? So, you know, like, you know what I'm saying? When I speak to my friends about it, that's why I challenge
I'm in the hallway. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
You know, it's all good. I challenge them. You know what I mean? I challenge them, the ones who still go there. M3 knows that. You know what I mean? He knows how I feel. He knows when we really get into these talks, I really go in. Like I really go. So that's why I don't really do it that much. Stan know that too. You know what I mean? So that's why I don't really talk about it that much. Because when I go there, I'm there. So now I'm there. You know what I mean? Because now we open the door. So yeah, so that's what really happens. So when people that still go there, I ask them like, why you still go there? Like you know they're not really representing God. Why you still go there? You know they're not about God. Why you still go there? Why you still giving them your money? Oh, you know, and they give me different reasons. But to me, I'm not trying to hear those reasons because I'm just like, yo, like y'all know this place is corrupt. It's corrupt. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not. And so there's been other places that are kind of trying to start new movements or whatever, but I still don't trust it. So I'm with Stan. I still don't trust it. I'm still on the fence. I might come to a little gathering here and there. You know what I mean? Especially if I got some good food, I'll definitely be there. You know what I'm saying? But rather than that, I'm not coming. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not coming. And if you want to try to study with me or you try to talk about like, I need to study with you or whatever, bro, I done did regular studies. I done did moving studies. I done did studies to be in places. I done did studies to be converted to different places. I done did studies to get engaged, to get married, to do this or that. I done did mass studies. I'm not studying with nobody no more, bro. Like it's over. You know what I mean? So if you don't think that I'm with Christ or you think that I'm evil, whatever, then think whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not doing no more studies. I'm done. You know what I mean? My study time is done. I gave you 20 years of my life. It's a wrap, bro. I'm done. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I stand with it. But I'll let anybody else share. You know what I mean? I know Queen is
I definitely have to share this one, but thank you for
Well, let me just add real quick some context on three. The thing is like I know what you're talking about. It's not like we weren't knowing because like being around Pentecostal, Protestant, Catholic, even Buddhist, like I know what you're saying. Is just again, this is nothing new with it. Even the book itself, it says it's like wolf in sheep's clothing type thing, or people with capitalism or certain because sometimes some of these fundings are for the better of people. Other times they're not. It's for you see a lot of TV Angelists and stuff like that, like the Joel Osteens, the TD Jakes, stuff like that. So, yeah, but again, this is nothing new.
Go ahead, Bessie. I think you're about to say something. Go ahead.
You're right. Theoretically, you're right. But theoretically, yes, you're right, Marcus. You're right. I'm not disagreeing with you. All right, I'm not disagreeing with you at all. But it's a lot deeper than that, bro. That's why we're sharing stories to let y'all know it's a lot what the three of us went through. You know what I mean? I even say what Queen went through because she's been a part of the system too. You know what I mean? So it's a lot deeper than that. It's way deeper than that. There's so much deep stuff that's going on. Like we only scratching the surface. We haven't really even gone in yet. Like literally, we haven't even gone in yet.
May I just say, if that's okay after you guys, I just have one thing to say.
Chuck, I'll let you go and then I'll break it down some more. But go ahead. Oh, chocolate. Okay.
I'm still here. Sorry. It's my mute button.
I was gonna give you a chance to say what you wanted to say.
Yeah, I just wanted to. Yeah, it's really, really quick. I guess the thing about it is, in listening to you guys as well, my opinion on that is for us to move forward. If we want to, as a group, especially in the stages that we're in, we will have to put the religious piece on the wall. Is that? And no disrespect to anyone, but there are other issues as to why we're not moving toward those goal lines, and religion is a part of it. But I think if we just kind of set that down and not use that as the ruler of just treating each other like human beings, I just wanted to say that. Like, there you go. You got it. Thank you.
I appreciate you. And here's the thing: everything you guys have responded, you guys are right. But here's where like the problem lies in, and that's why Bess is saying that it is deeper. Let me bring my boy Truth up in here. What up, Truth? It is deeper than.
What's up, Truth?
This is why like I can't wait until like okay maybe in the next episode because I think it's really really important to actually have the midweek part 2 going in because.
Do you guys want to come to Deja's Safe Space?
Oh, well, of course. But
let's say we could do that on Sunday.
And a little self-promotion. A little promotion right there.
Shut up.
Yeah, but
for
for us to really break everything down into like, deep matters, I'm going to save that for Toxic Tuesdays for the midweek. I'll give you a snippet. I'll still come on to the show, Deja, so don't worry. I'll still come in and still share a little bit. But to really break things down deeply for other people to hear, and especially some of these church people too, because they need to hear this as well. But let me go ahead and finish my point. The problem is that okay, whenever like we have the urge to speak up or we talk about certain issues, it's kind of like the same equivalent when someone asks a man who hurt you, and that same equivalent is like, well, you're not really supposed to look at the preacher, you're supposed to look at the message. And we get that all the time, like from other people that's telling us, focus on the word, not on the actions of the people. And I always kind of wonder, why you keep dismissing the actions of other people? I mean, look, if I commit some type of sin or some type of action, you guys will be grilling me on that. You guys will be holding me accountable. You guys will be ready to kick me out of the church. I mean, one person pretty much told me to bounce. And I mean, he didn't even have to tell me to bounce. I was already gone mentally anyway. But my point is that sometimes you gotta talk about these type of issues because the sin that most of us were probably in was not really speaking up. We talk about these issues amongst ourselves, but not a lot of us had like enough courage to really just put ourselves out in the heater and just be like, you know what? I don't like what the hell you're doing, or what you're doing is not right. Because see, the thing is, they're really good as far as using that same book as a manipulation tactic to get you confused. And then here's the thing. Let's say it may be me, Stan, or Mr. Best. We all agree in one same accord. Because they know that we are in line with each other, they will try to get together with us, but one by one, but their group versus the individual side of us. So they won't get me, Stan, and Mr. Besson together because they know that we'll have each other's backs, like our brother's keepers. And we'll point out certain stuff.
To me a lot. They did.
Yeah, it's like an ambush. They'll wait until you're vulnerable, meaning that you're pretty much by yourself, where you could have these group of people, these yes men, tell you as a person how wrong you are. And then they'll use those type of scriptures instead of going to the full context of it. They use these scriptures to tell you, hey, because I am a leader, you're supposed to obey me. Or because you are this way based off your past, you need to stop communicating with this woman. Look, man, there's a lot of stuff going on, but I want to put it like this. The main flaws were like what the church was going to. You could not talk. Well, man, this actually sounds like prison. You cannot be alone with a woman. Here's the thing. I understand as far as like safety issues, but they'll dictate who you should like, or if they don't like you, don't piss them off, because now they're gonna tell that a woman that you're attracted to that you're unspiritual, you're unspiritually equipped to lead her. And if she chooses to like you, guess what? She is going to be considered as a fallaway. One of my best friends, the big mistake was one of the guys, he was like, well, I won't say he was in a relationship, but he was building naturally as what men supposed to do. We as men, we supposed to be the ones that's be approaching you guys, talk to you guys. But the church system has it wired for beta males to use other men and use other women.
The manosphere. Here comes the manosphere.
Yep, I'm taking it there because it was a beta ass church. They will use other men and other women to tell that particular woman that you have a crush on her and you're playing telephone because they don't want your heart to get broken into pieces or feel embarrassed. But the Bible calls men to lead. So how could we lead and you having other people? Oh, you got a head out there?
Yeah, I just got to head out. I just want to say thank you to everybody. Hey, Queen, what's up? How you doing? What's up, Chocolate? True. What is that? True
What's
Love?
up, standing man?
Oh, it's you. What's up, man?
What, True?
What's up, shorty?
84, you know I love you. Deja, what's
Love you
up?
too, brother.
Marcus, thanks for showing up, man. M3, thank
You
you.
know it.
Hey, and I just want to know, like, hey guys, if I speak on it, I just want to be real quick. When I spoke on it, and that was my thing, like, because I spoke, right, it helped the therapist to do a better job because the organization is good with psychiatry, and when I gave them the details, they were blown away, and it just helped what they need to do to fix other people. 2, I work with a therapist, and she went around because of my testimony. She was able to help other men who was going through it with other organizations, and she's building up her own ministry and helping people to stay connected to God, and also when they leave an organization that's not okay. And 3, I joined a support group, and we got together. And the thing about in therapy, like, we can't suppress it. We do have to talk about it because if I suppress it, it becomes something else where I don't sleep. I'm going to have to take on more medication because now become a CPTSD, which is a step serious than PTSD. So I just want people to understand, like, it is encouraged for you to talk about it, but to also know that you're not there anymore. You are in a safe place right now, and you do have people that care for you and love you. And just remember that. You are not in this place that you were before. And that's all I want to say.
Hey, definitely well said, Stan.
And can I just commend you real quick because I know we've had our little.
What you mean? I'm just pressing buttons.
Spats. We've had our little spats. But no, for real, I really, really respect your vulnerability, and I genuinely appreciate you sharing for a greater cause too, because you really don't have to. And you're doing it, from what I hear, is to make sure you're heard and people like you who are heard. And I think that's extremely, extremely commendable because there are people who will not speak up. And
especially when you're a man. And I think that was something, when I had to speak up, that was something that was rare because men don't speak up, especially black men don't speak up when they join organizations. The reason I say organizations because it's still a church for people who are really following Christ. And for other people, it's just a machine. And I just want to share this real quick, how I broke down, broken by Camelback, when I got told the only reason I got baptized was because I was sexually attractive. And you guys know my background. That right there, that's what set me on the path to where I almost unalived myself. And I had to go to the hospital. Because to hear that, and I don't know how many other people, when you've been told that from like people that you've been vulnerable with and open, and to be told that that's the only reason you got baptized. I went to God. I got baptized because I want to give my heart to Jesus, and I love Jesus, and I love what He done for me and everything else. And that's why I got baptized. I did not get baptized to be some sexual chocolate. That is not something I care for, right? But what I got from that experience is like, also I read Philippians, like no matter if your heart is pure, no matter who taught the Bible, God still see you as pure. And that's what I learned from Philippians, the book of Philippians. I'm able to share that with other people so they don't fall back into the same traps. Because we as men, we just shut down, stay quiet, be inward, and we just disappear. And I just did not want to live that life of just disappearing and seeing others disappear.
Can I elaborate what Stan is saying real quick? And Stan, if you could stay up for a few more minutes, please.
Okay.
I want you to, right? When somebody convinces you that that your family and that they love you, when somebody convinces you to tell it your most inmost, secrets, your most inmost things that you don't. I haven't even told my parents a lot of stuff that I told people that go to the organization. You know what I'm saying? And I did that on the strength of them saying that we're family, that represent God, that we're one. You know what I'm saying? Because they, the way they base on it, that your spiritual family is more important than your physical family, right? Because you're aligned with God. You know what I'm saying? So when they do that and they get you to, to feel that and see that, and remember, you're going to church because you're in a vulnerable space. You're trying to get help. You're trying to make your life better. You're trying to get off of either maybe some substance, or maybe you're trying to stop fornicating, or maybe you're trying to stop being out here, being in the streets, or thugging it out, or whatever, right? So you're trying to change.
You feel empty because that spiritual side is not there.
Yeah. So you're trying to change, you know what I mean? And they know that. So they use that as a way to now bamboozle you and trick you to tell them all your secrets, to getting all vulnerable with them, and then they're using the Bible on top of that. So now they get you all open, and now you're completely open with them, right? You're completely locked in, and now they use that against you. You know what I'm saying? So that's what was going on. It wasn't the fact that we just walked in here and then we just were following somebody, and then we just aimlessly just started getting tricked. No, it wasn't like that. It's a lot deeper than that, is what I'm trying to tell y'all.
It's engineered.
Again, I want to talk about this like on next Tuesday, but so we could just break down everything. That way nobody gets confused. You could catch the replay and all that.
Hey guys, I gotta go because my brother, I don't know if you guys can hear him, he's acting out.
Good night.
No problem.
Let's think, Stanley. Don't forget X97 with Hank.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm watching it tonight or tomorrow morning.
I got you.
Yeah.
Hey, be there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right,
no problem, Stan. Good night. Real quick, everyone. I know we have Queen, we have Truth in the building. Because I know you guys haven't got a chance to speak yet. We will be shutting down after you guys talk. Deja, I know you was gonna say something, so I'll let you go first. Then Queen, then Truth.
Oh no, I just commend you guys all, because we hear stories, but we don't hear stories. So for you guys to just open up like that and to really share the ins and outs of what's really going on, it was abuse. And it was something that, like, abuse is anything that's being taken advantage of by a superior. So that was abuse. And to go through that for so long, I can only imagine the amount of things that you have to work through and the amount of trust that you have to build with the world. And I'm so sorry that happened to you. That, like, man, and then especially within the church. So I really didn't have anything to add. I just wanted to commend you guys. And I just appreciate you sharing and giving your light and giving your story, because without that, I wouldn't have known that. Nobody would know that. And then that's why I was asking about Sunday, because you don't have to go into details, but I would really like to understand your mental process through it and how you were able to get out of it and how you were able to heal from it. That's what I'm interested in. So I'm actually about to head off. It's my bedtime since I have 3 jobs. So
Good night.
Good night. So I just wanted to say that, and then but great conversation. Thank you for having me on. Thank you for calling me to have me on. And yeah, I can't wait to hear more on Sunday.
Yeah, I'll definitely share some details with you. So again, I like I said, I'm open to share both. I know I will definitely share the full scoop for next Tuesday. But whatever questions you have for me, Deja, just take it away.
I appreciate you. I'm looking forward to it. But good night, everybody, and continue on with such a great conversation.
Have a good night. Good luck with the 3 jobs.
Thanks.
And happy
God
4th
bless.
as well too, though.
Huh?
I said happy 4th, like your new job too.
Oh yeah. Thanks. So I'll be drinking a lot of coffee. It's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, good night.
Definitely like the reverse time, I'll tell you that.
Good night.
All right, good night. All right. So Queen and Truth. Let me get to Queen real quick. And then Truth, once we get to you, then we're gonna close out.
I mean, I guess y'all started talking about church and religion.
It kind of went there, so
I'm gonna say this. We all have different experiences. We all have similarities. Those who I'm talking to know who you are. I think the biggest thing that's helped me not piece it all together, meaning like hate God or whatever, is the fact that when I said Jesus was Lord, I said he was Lord. And I look at people as flawed, deceitful, and imperfect. And when I needed to speak up, I spoke up. I wasn't afraid of the backlash. Some people are afraid of the backlash. I don't worship people, and that's the problem too. So that's why you have the Joel Osteens and the T.D. Jakes, is because people put them on pedestals and they become about the person and not about the message. They're flawed and sinful just like anyone else. And if they're above reproach, then that means that they shouldn't be preaching. Because no one's above reproach. No one's above correction or checking. So, and that's the problem. A lot of people don't do it because they're in the in crowd. They got the clout, or they're the call it the house Negroes. They're inside. They're being fed. They're well dressed. They're not in the field slaving away with the messed up hands. So that's a lot of times what happens in churches, is that people see stuff and they just refuse to say anything. And the Bible says, if you know the good you ought to do, you don't do it, you in sin. So they think just because it's not at their doorstep, it's not affecting them or their family, that they don't have to say anything. And that's not true, because they're going to be held accountable for it when they see it. I didn't have a problem speaking up. I didn't even have to be involved in a situation. If I saw something that wasn't cool, I said something. So needless to say, I got, blacklisted or whatever you want to call it, but I didn't care, because when I said Jesus was Lord, he was Lord. And I didn't care what they thought. I say, how are you going to use the same Bible that you used to free me to enslave me again? I'm not a slave to you. I don't worship you. I don't bow down to you. And I don't obey you. I obey the Bible. And so needless to say, I had it. It wasn't all bad. I had some great times, and I still love it. I still love the Bible. I still love sharing the word or reading it and praying. So, no one has clouded my view of God. No one has clouded my view of organized religion. It's just the fact of when you start worshiping people, that's what happens. You're just a dumb sheep following to your demise. And that's not what God calls us to do. So that's my take on it.
All right, thank you, Queen. And we got Truth. What up, Truth? Truth, the top G. You still here? Okay. I'll give him like a minute, maybe probably went somewhere, but overall, man, I appreciate you guys for coming up and having this discussion. This is something that Stan definitely wanted to do. Salutes to Trey Berg. I see you still in the building, so salutes to you, sir. Yeah, so this was definitely something that he definitely wanted to, bring out, because it is that I'm not gonna get with no comparison between men and women, because right now, like, all of us is going through, like, a place where it's like it's not really safe to be vulnerable, and then when you do be vulnerable, they use that against you. So what can we really tell the people that's watching us that is also struggling with vulnerability? What solutions could we actually give them? You know what I mean? By the end of the day, and say, look, man, you may have got hurt because you try to be vulnerable, you try to be open, and that was liberating, and now somebody used that against you. So how do you really move on from that? And some people may never move on fully, but it's going to require like time. It's going to take some steps. Like in Stan's story, like it took therapy and him pretty much rediscovering himself as a person and setting boundaries when he sees like these same type of people crossing those type of lines. The thing is, like, it could either make you or break you. I think for me as a person personally, it helped me for the greater good. It helped me to be more wiser, and it helped me to be a better person when it comes to just communicating and with certain other relationships. So, but it also helped me to see like the BS when it's coming and know where to really put people in their place when it's needed. Now, some people, it may be different. It may be require something that is a little less aggressive. I wouldn't say more like passive, but more in a gentle type of approach when you're seeing stuff. But when you're feeling stuff, man, and you see like, hey, something's going to corrupt your heart and it's no good, sometimes, man, you got to just be rude and just flat out just say it. Because otherwise, man, it's going to ruin your sanity. In my opinion, that is. Truth, are you still here?
Yes, sir. What's up, bro?
Nothing much, Truth. We're about to get ready to close out, but I just want to hear your thoughts. I know you just came up to the panel, so we was talking about vulnerability, and at the end it kind of shifted to us telling our story about church, because
thank you for being vulnerable.
Yeah. For Stan, Best, whatever, Queen, there's situations where we had to speak up or things that we didn't speak up about. But when we were vulnerable, people usually took that, for granted, and they turned that against us. So I don't know, like if you ever been in a situation where you was vulnerable to someone, it could be a man or a woman or whoever, and they violated that trust, and how you felt about it.
On a personal level, yeah, I've had people where you share certain things that you haven't shared with no one, or it's probably been some time and you take a chance with an individual to see where they are at, and you take a chance at providing them with some information, even if it's not a little bit, just to see what level of trust and compassion they have towards you, and where you guys are at as far as being friends, and what type of relationship y'all have. If it's something that's going to be built with longevity, or this is just a person that's here just for a season. Yeah, I've been in situations where been vulnerable, and then inevitably they betrayed me. A lot of people don't understand what loyalty is, and where they don't understand loyalty is actually for you. You're loyal to a person because you are loyal, not because they're loyal to you. And you hope that somewhere along the lines it builds a form of reciprocity where that is returned. It's sort of like runs along the guidelines of just like with love. You love the individual unconditionally, not for the sake of that. Because they love you, you love them because you love them, but you would like it returned. And most of the time, if it's returned, that's something beautiful. As far as when it comes to the church concept, I mean, we see it all throughout, the world. Churches became more of a monopoly now. It has taken on solely a business front. It has got a lot away from relationship. It went from religion to relationship, and then was more into what's called the quote unquote spirituality thing, where everything is now convoluted. It's no longer, from Judaism to Christianity. It has taken on this other entity where, certain things that if you actually open the word, it's actually forbidden. It's actually heresy when it comes to dealing with the church. And the church is more so now glued to the building instead of the actual individuals that make up the church or the body of Christ, which is the believers. That's the true church. A lot of people don't understand what they even getting themselves into, because it has now became like a club, book club, or something you just say I'm a Christian, but then there's no validity in your behavior, your lifestyle, your walk, your relationship. The Bible says you will know a tree by its fruits. A good tree cannot produce bad fruit, and a bad tree cannot produce good fruit. And for those of us that actually know the word, the fruit that they're talking about is the fruits of the Spirit in Galatians. Love, patience, peace, kindness, long-suffering, gentleness, self-control. Against these is the law is made unaffected if you have these. So a lot of people don't understand those 9 characteristics are the traits of Jesus Christ himself, which is supposed to be manifested in your life and inside you through the Holy Spirit. And if that fruit do not show up in your life, then you actually don't have what you think you have. And a lot of times the church doesn't focus on us being better people towards each other. It really focuses on the religious part about you just showing up in the pews so they can get, their donations, their money. You go to pastor day, deacon's board, have your name written up on something. Everything has become more of a doctrination and less about what Christ did on the cross, because that's what the whole thing should be about. God coming to live in sinful flesh as one of us. They called him Emmanuel, which means God with us. He lives as one of us. He shows us how to live, a godly lifestyle through the will of God and have that purpose, and to, deny ourselves and to live for God all the way to the cross and never be giving his life up, to die on the cross to save us from ourselves, our sin, provide us with a way home. And then he rose on the 3rd day and showed himself to, his disciples and to the whole world for 40 days before he then rose to the right hand of power on God. So that's what it's supposed to be all about. But the church has gotten away from feeding the people and nourishing people to make sure that we are trained up in the way that we should go. They're now focused on, like I said, money, bringing in, certain type of rappers, and, you got TD Jakes hanging with people that, are, dealing with extracurricular activities. And then now he's being caught up with Puff Daddy and now stuff that where, back in the day, if you were heard like this, they would make sure they would excommunicate you out the church. People would kick you out. We actually kicked what's his name, Jamal Bryant, out of Baltimore City. That's why he's down in Atlanta. That's where he was up here. But Baltimore, the church association up here kicked him out because of what he was doing, as far as from a monetary standpoint, and he's also, having fornication with the ladies of the church, and all that trauma he did to those ladies that were, single and married, and then also the things that he did to his own wife. All that can mislead and lead somebody away from God, because it's like, why would a man of God do something like this to women and mislead women and hurt women in this manner? And let alone, provide a stumbling block and a horrible example for how men of God should behave. So the church system is flawed, and I suggest people get to know God on a more individual basis. Now, the church that I now attend to now is biblical based. They actually govern themselves according to the word. The pastor, he's not riding around in no big Benz, has no huge house, none of those type of things. And he actually works for the people. He actually goes to people's houses, people that's dying, people that need food. He goes like door to door, checking up on them. You having a new baby, he comes and visits the mother, making sure that you need clothing, you're going to doctor's appointment, need prenatal care. All those type of things are inside the church system, daycare, all those things. So they are actually the reason why I returned to going back to a church, because I actually saw that they were living the actual word in their lives and inside the church. They actually followed the format, and I saw what they're doing was real. And there's been a first for me in a long time. Before that, I wasn't going to church. So I got blessed enough to actually find one where I can go and fellowship with like-minded individuals that's, on the straight and narrow path like myself. So, yeah.
Well, thank you, Truth, man. I appreciate you for sharing that. Guys, I got to wrap it up because I got to get ready to go for work. But much love to you guys. We are definitely out.
What's up,
good
man?
night, guys.
How you doing, lady? Long time. Tell I said hi, 84.
Most definitely. And tune into definitely tune into the Intellectual Soapbox like this Sunday at 9:00 Pacific time, which would be 10, 11, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for a Deja Safe Space. So again, everybody, you guys have a good night. Me and the Sophisticated Jerk, we will be streaming for this Sunday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So get ready to tune into Reckless Reviews as well too. And again, don't forget to tune in again next time for Toxic Tuesdays, because stuff we talk about, yes, it could be extremely toxic, but by the end of the day, look, man, we're just trying to spread awareness and just share our vulnerable stories. So salute to Stan. Thank you guys so much. We are out, everyone. Make sure you guys subscribe to our channels, subscribe to the Intellectual Soapbox, subscribe to Knowledge and Relationships, and make sure you guys subscribe to other channels as well too that's partnered up with us. Again, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. Have a blessed night.
Knowledge and relationships.